Okay, welcome tonight to telling our stories. It's for the record. It's October 24th, about 7:10. I'm Edward Meza, director of the museums here in Port Isabel, and we've been putting together the Day of the Dead exhibit here in Port Isabel since the start of the museum back in 1997. Back in 1997, before that I came from Laredo. I was working there with the Webb County Heritage Foundation. And to tell you the truth, the first time I was raised in Corpus and, went to College Station, worked in Dallas, and I was never really familiar with the Day of the Dead. And because Corpus really didn't have any exhibits or we didn't do anything as that. So when I was told to put up a Day of the Dead exhibit in Laredo, it kind of surprised me because I was seeing all these settings of these little skeletons doing everyday life activities. And the first thing I thought, oh my gosh, this is, what is this all about? Is it voodoo or something? But I educated myself through, what they were telling me about, and it's a fascinating celebration of life that the Mexican culture does in Mexico. And it really celebrates All Souls and All Saints Days. And during these 2 days, the families celebrate. They actually go to the cemeteries and they clean the headstones and they have actual picnics. And they use, to decorate, they use marigold, because they believe the marigold plant leads the way from the what was I saying? the
grave to heaven.
The grave, yeah, to the homestead. A lot of times they'll put marigold leaves from outside leading into the altar. And then the person, let me go back, when they decorate their homes, they put altars of a loved one that's passed, and they'll put things that they like. Like if a person likes to drink tequila, they'll put a bottle of tequila. They'll put a picture of the person. They'll put candies. They'll put little mementos of their life, what they like. And it's almost a comical type thing that they do when they celebrate. When they go to the graveyards, I don't know if you noticed, how many of you I've never been to one in Mexico, to any of their, has anyone here gone to? Okay, the only thing I've gotten close to is when you go down Highway 83 up to Rio Grande City in Roma. If you pass their cemeteries, they're just beautiful. They decorate them with flowers, and it's just gorgeous. When I first experienced that too was in Laredo, and when during this time of year, the cemetery, which during the year was just plain and arid and what have you, during this time there was flowers. It looked like it was springtime, but in the fall. He's had these beautiful flowers and decorations, what have you. And I'll read right here. The custom, it's a counterpart is the community graveyard cleaning in Anglo areas. It goes back to pre-Middle Ages practices established by the Catholic Church in Europe, as well as the pagan parallels among Druids and others. So it's gotten back. It's taken from Europe and brought to the area through, I guess, the Spanish explorers, what have you. Families make a day of this event and take along with them rakes and hoes with water buckets along with picnic luncheons. European customs related to All Saints and All Souls Days have merged with the practice of the Indians who were here before the Spanish. Flowers, especially white flowers, are for children, and yellow, which are the marigolds, are for adults, were used by the Aztecs to decorate the graves of their loved ones. The custom of paying tribute to the dead is worldwide and exists in many cultures. The Druids did it on October 31st of each year. Asians do it in connection with the Lunar New Year. And of course, Catholics have been doing it for centuries, at least since 373 in the Eastern Church and 731 in the Western Church. It's a long time. Mexican people find joy in recalling their loved ones who have passed away. Their festivals last 3 days and nights, fusing Catholicism with other Indian roots. The people believe that on the last day of October, deceased children will return to earth for a visit, while the faithful dead return November 2nd, which were the adults. Families gather at the cemetery to pray the night of November 1st, and often spend the next day in an almost picnic-like atmosphere. Vendors sell ice cream and cotton candy as family reminisce about the dead. Flowers and wreaths are brought to the cemeteries, and graves often are repainted and decorated. Right now, if you go to Matamoros or any of the border towns, you'll see there's a lot of people selling those crosses or wreaths all decorated and everything. Also, they'll be selling the pan de muerto, which is a bread. It's actually sweet bread, but it's shaped. It's like a. Do you know what a semita is? Well, it's like it's about this big, the bread, and it has crossbones on it. Some actually have a skeletal on it, and it's covered with colored sugar in a celebration. They also, some of them put little skulls in the bread also. Plastic skulls. Altars, altares. In their homes, family built altars to welcome and remember their dead loved ones, placing upon altars the ofrendas, which are offerings, like skeleton-shaped sugar candies, which we have some on display, marigolds, marzipan, pan de muertos, photos, and favorite objects like food, candy, or cigarettes. The Mexican attitude toward deaths demonstrates a fond remembrance for the objects of life and the people who love them. They know that after their own deaths, they will be remembered and missed as well. Favorite and sweet foods are prepared and set on the altar to prepare for the souls of the loved ones who are coming home for a visit. Plenty of drink and sweet foods, especially for the children, are placed out. After midnight, the visiting souls are considered to have had their fill, and the living family members can then eat and drink. When we go, we have an exhibit up in the next museum, in the historical museum. We'll be taking a visit over there after this. And they produce candy skeleton heads on a stick, and what they do in parties, they have the names of the children, and so they're supposed to look for their names, and a lot of times, they could adopt someone that has passed in the family, and the children will pick up the candy with the deceased in it. Let's see. Pan de muertos, bread of the dead. This type of sweet bread is found in every bakery at this time. About 5 years ago, I was looking for pan de muerto, and no one had it. It has to be specially made, especially like the sugar skulls that are candy. Melba Fassel, Melba, she had to bring them from Monterrey because they wouldn't sell them. Now you can find them. Large round flattish loaves of sweet bread, almost like cake or eaten memory of the dead. In your little package, you can see one that has just the bone on it, and then the older ones. Let me show you.
It's so cute.
See, it kind of looks like
It's like a mummy or something.
mummy.
Yeah, then it's neat.
And some are really simple too.
Yeah.
It says the loaves are topped with the shapes of bones and decorated with sugar. The bread is simply eaten as a delicacy only once a year. In other cultures, similar bread is eaten. In Germany, and see if I'm saying this right, Sillenbrot, soul bread, for instance. But there is a belief that eating a loaf or sometimes eating a piece will get a soul out of purgatory. Thank you.
It's one of Ed's words.
I know, it's one of my words. I have this thing. Calabares or skulls. And it's really interesting. How many of you see the sugar skulls? Okay, it's amazing. The biggest one I've seen is about this big, and it's amazing. Yeah, and they get all the way to little tiny ones. Candy or sugar skulls, often with children's names across the forehead, are given as gifts to friends in Mexican-American communities. They're also cardboard coffins with popping zombies and dangling skeletons. It's so funny. I have to share this story with you. Back in 1997, when I went to go look for the Day of the Dead items, I went to Progreso, I went to Mier, I went to Matamoros, and I don't know if any of you helped. We were, and when I went to Progreso, they said, we don't do this here. All I found in Progreso in the little marketplace were Halloween items, pumpkins and witches and everything. So now I guess they saw that people were being interested in it. And I spoke with a lot of people that live down in this area, and they never celebrated, but it's an interesting custom that has been done in the valley, but not particularly down in this area. This is calaveras. These are poems also. These poems, something like a comic valentine, were sent to people, especially prominent public figures, poking fun at their politics or imperfections, but ending with the observation that all this doesn't matter since the person under discussion is a calavera or a skull and they're already dead. So it's like they're making fun of you while they're dead.
I think of a few people I could say.
In Laredo, there's this newspaper that come out with a whole page, 2 pages, like a little booklet, and you write your poems, and it makes really cool. They did one of me one time, but I didn't know, so it didn't matter.
You didn't know you were getting an
They told me that after reading it, and I thought, oh, okay. Coronas are the wreaths. Like we have one on display that's the shape of a cross, but they come shaped as circular or hearts, what have you. And if you notice, the one I picked is colors of Texas A&M. Natty.
And a way to go.
And a way to go.
If it can't be dark and blue and white, make it maroon.
Well, I was amused. I didn't know. Okay, let's see. Got this. Also, are there any questions about? Okay. What I'd like to do is just, if you want to go next door, and I could explain more about it when we look at the.
We should mail this picture to Andretti.
She's got ghosts over there, of course.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, this play upstairs.
Oh, this is something different.
Looks real cute.
Oh, look at those, I got some of
Very.
those.
Real cute and scary.
Yeah, that's cute. Don't you glide it off with that?
Got cute little shoes.
Yeah. I was worried about how it was gonna be. How
Who's got them?
You buy them in Mexico. They have them for Christmas, they have them for most all holidays, and you just buy the string of them.
How about that?
Because we had some for Christmas once.
Yeah, if you see these wonderful ladies, Victorian ladies, they were greeting us at, what's that store across from Garcia Street? Garcia's in Matamoros. It's
Ocelon, yeah.
They have decoration, and Melba got them for us.
I think they're so
She
cute.
bought them for us when we got there.
Couple Parrot has one in their place.
Well,
Yeah, they do. They
got
should've-
they
well,
should've got it?
Yeah, they got it. I think it's the same place.
Yeah.
No, it looks real.
It's real interesting. We paid how much about?
I think
Mary,
they
about
were like, it was 50 for two of them.
So $25 each. Ralph said that he went up to Colorado or something, and they had them for $500.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and a gallery. Well, you see the
Two ladies.
Oh.
the confetti. I know. Look at the shoes. The confetti down there represents the marigolds, like the little trail going to the altar. Well, who we're honoring there is Charles Champion, Doc Hockaday, and of course Chencho.
Yeah, on Chencho.
Don Chencho.
You guys did a great job.
Oh, well, we didn't do this. This was Maria.
It was Maria.
Yeah, I know,
Maria,
I
she
know.
did a good thing. This is kind of a lady. We had it first that it looked like it was spread out, but we changed a little bit. Now I'm going to walk inside the exhibit so I can pick up some things to show you. Now, what's interesting, I was speaking with a lady that does altares from San Antonio. She said that the black and orange are not really the colors, that it's just the American Halloween.
Halloween
Yeah, that they use colorful flowers, more colorful things. At the time, in 1997, this is what they sold in the mall in Matamoros. Wong's Calaveras, which were chocolate. And so we were using these, and then when we found, of course, the sugar ones, you could see the names if you'd like to.
Look at the eyes.
Their eyes glow in the glow, don't they? That's cute.
These are the lollipops I was telling you about. This one says Arnolfo. So if anybody's named Arnolfo.
Mine is.
This is fake, of course, the sweetbread. But we had, when we first started our exhibit, we thought, why not have real pan de muerto? So we wrapped it, sealed it, and guess what? The next day, it's full of ants. So those like, but usually they have little scenes, and I don't know if you've seen these before. There are elaborate scenes of, I've seen some that people are being operated, a woman having a baby with the doctors around there. They're at the bar. This one's, I think it's a wedding, but it's really interesting.
They sell a lot of those in Garcia's.
Yes.
Hey, mariachis.
Mariachis.
That's cute.
Isn't that
That's
neat?
cute.
They're very nice. We even have the drunken borracho Capablanca. But also, these are wonderful. Day of the Dead that we found also. And these, I think it was in Progresso.
Progress, I
We
found
finally
those. Yeah.
these.
They were only like $3.
Yeah, I think the price is still $1.55.
$1.50.
Unbelievable,
Yeah.
someone put that much work I know.
But you go to somewhere in Dallas, they'll have them
60.
way, yeah, 60 probably. It's amazing. Because there's a lot of collectible.
Think of all the time they put in on that.
And look at
Oh.
all of those little,
Look at the pool shooters. Look at the heads or the ball.
Ah.
The skulls.
for the cute.
And of course the candles, what have you. The marigolds. What's interesting, when I went looking for marigolds at Michael's, all the place at this time, they were sold out. So people are just buying everything. So it's like, whoa.
Purple was the color when I had the Brightey store. I went
Purple.
purple.
So where did y'all get the ladies, the two big ladies?
The ladies were in Matamoros. It was at that. What is,
It's Ozalon. It's
Ozalon.
across the street.
and if you start, there's a
Yeah,
corona.
yeah,
You see,
that's pretty.
maroon. When you go looking at the different, the marketplaces, you find everything now. In skulls they have masks, as this one here, puppets, dishes, candles. It's amazing. Like this one, we let it here, but this was with a rat on there. And one lady that came visit, she goes, "You're not supposed to put anything dealing with like rats or spiders or witches or anything." Just like I said, it's not a Halloween thing. It's actually a celebration of death through life. Are there any questions?
It's very good.
Now the ghost stories now.
Yeah.
Go ahead, start.
Watch out walking down the stairs.
Let me turn on the light.
Be careful. Marianne, you better take a picture of his maroon wreath up
I
there.
did. I got a big,
They came through here 150 years ago to establish convents in the valley, and they say. Well, Maria did a great job.
she did. She did a wonderful job.